She slept beside the fire with a baby. In the morning, he saw his family, ring on her hand. The baby breathed softly, curled against her chest, its tiny face half lit by the fire's restless glow. She did not look up when the cabin door creaked open. The man stepped inside, boots dragging mud across warped planks, one hand brushing the stock of his rifle as if it were habit. His eyes narrowed at the sight of her. She stayed still. He spoke first. "You lost?" Her voice was low. "No." "Cabin's mine." She did not move. "Doesn't look like anyone's." He closed the door behind him, though the night air lingered. The fire snapped loud in the silence. "Who are you?" "No one." "That your baby?" "Yes." He squinted at the child as though doubting it even breathed. "Where'd you come from?" "Down the road." "What road?" "Does it matter?" His jaw flexed. He dropped his rifle against the wall, but never let his eyes leave her. The baby stirred, whimpered once, then went quiet again. The sound softened something in him, though he masked it quick. "You can't stay," he muttered. "I already am." "I didn't invite you." She looked at him for the first time, face sharp in the firelight. "Didn't ask." He stepped closer, studying the dirt on her dress, the torn hem, the thin shawl wrapped around the child. "You running?" "From what?" "That's what I'm asking." She said nothing. The silence pressed thick between them, heavy with the smell of smoke and damp wood. He crouched near the fire, warming his hands, though his eyes never left her. "You feed the baby?" "Yes." "With what?" "Milk." "Where'd you get it?" Her stare held him like a trap. "Doesn't matter." He let out a short laugh, not kind. "Everything matters out here." The baby shifted again, a soft squeak breaking the tension. She rocked it gently, humming something too faint to catch. He tried to listen, but the words slipped away like smoke. "What's its name?" he asked. She pressed her cheek to the child's head. "Doesn't have one." His brow creased. "Every child's got a name." "Not this one." The fire flared, throwing shadows across the rotted beams above. He rubbed his chin, studying her as if she were a puzzle carved into stone. "You sit here like you own the place," he said. "Do you?" "My family did." "Then maybe they left something behind." His head tilted. "What would you know about that?" She only looked back at the fire, refusing his gaze. "You're hiding something." "Everyone is." He exhaled slow, as if deciding whether to push further. Instead, he stood, brushing soot from his palms. "I'll fetch wood." She did not answer. When he opened the door again, the night pressed in. Cold, endless, whispering through the trees. He gathered a few logs stacked against the wall outside, returned, and dropped them near the hearth. She had not moved. The baby slept untouched by the world's noise. He fed the flames, sparks jumping like restless thoughts. The cabin filled with sharper light, carving their faces in orange and shadow. "You staying long?" he asked finally. "As long as I need." "That won't be long." "We'll see." Her calm unnerved him more than any threat might have. He sat across from her, stretching tired legs. The fire between them hissed like it knew secrets neither would share. "What's your name?" he asked again. "Doesn't matter." "I think it does." "Then think." He leaned back, smirking without humor. "You're not afraid, are you?" "Should I be?" "Most folks would be. Woman alone, strange man walking in." She stroked the baby's head with one finger. "I'm not most folks." The fire popped, throwing sparks that clung to the air before falling quiet. He studied her long. "You've got a look about you, like you've lost more than you care to admit," she whispered. "Haven't you?" The words struck him deeper than he expected. His mouth opened, then shut. He looked away, letting silence claim the room again. The baby sighed, shifting in her arms. She adjusted the shawl, cradling it tighter. Her face softened. Just for that moment, he watched, unsettled, something in the way she held the child, protective, tender, absolute, cut through his suspicion, but only for a breath. "You can't stay," he repeated, though weaker now. "I already told you. I am." "You'll regret it." She lifted her gaze. "So will you." Neither spoke after that. The fire carried the only voice, snapping and crackling as if alive, throwing their shadows together across the broken cabin walls. He stared at the flames until his eyelids grew heavy, but he did not trust himself enough to sleep. She did not move, except to breathe with the baby. Outside, the night pressed closer. Inside, the fire kept burning, restless, secretive, waiting. The fire still burned low when he spoke again, voice rough from holding back sleep. "Cabin's mine. Always was." She sat steady. Baby cradled close, her face half in the glow. "It belongs to no one. It belonged to my family. They're not here. They were. That's enough." She shifted the child against her chest. "If they left, then they left it behind." His jaw tightened. "You talk like you know something." "Maybe I do." "Then tell it." "No." The fire popped hard, breaking the silence. He leaned forward, elbows on knees. "You come walking in, make yourself at home in a place you don't own, and now you sit there like you've got rights." "I've got what I need." "That's not the same. It's enough for me." The baby whimpered. She rocked it gently, her eyes still locked on his. He straightened, a harsh laugh catching in his throat. "You don't scare easy, do you?" "No reason to." "There's reason. You just don't see it yet." She pulled the shawl tighter. "What reason?" He tapped the wooden floor with the toe of his boot. "This land remembers. Blood in the soil, names on deeds, graves out back. It doesn't forget who walked it." She lowered her gaze to the baby. "Maybe it remembers who was forgotten too." His eyes flickered. He stood, pacing once across the room. "You've got a sharp tongue for someone squatting. And you've got a bad memory for someone claiming ownership." He stopped, staring at her. "You saying I'm lying?" "I'm saying memory is tricky." The fire hissed, smoke curling through a crack in the roof. His fists clenched, then loosened. He sat back down slow, watching her with a mix of anger and something he couldn't name. "Family built this place with their own hands," he muttered. "Families fall apart. Not mine." She gave him a look that cut deep. "All families do." The baby stirred again, a soft cry building in its throat. She hushed it, swaying in small movements. He watched, unsettled, almost guilty. "What's its name?" he asked again. "Still doesn't have one." "That's no way to raise it." "It'll live." "Not out here." "Better than where I was." "Where's that?" She said nothing. He leaned forward, voice sharp. "Where?" Her eyes met his, steady as stone. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." "I won't." The baby's cry grew louder, filling the cabin with raw need. She pressed her cheek to its head, whispering soft words under her breath. He shifted in his seat, uncomfortable, as if the sound dragged up something buried. "Can't shut it up forever," he muttered. "It's a baby. It cries." "Not safe." "From who?" "From everything." Her hand smoothed over the child's back. "Then I'll keep it safe." "You can't." "I will." Their words hung sharp in the smoky air. The fire threw their shadows huge across the walls, bending and twisting with each crack. "You think you've got claim here because you walked in with a child," he said. "I don't need claim. I just need shelter. And I don't need strangers taking what's mine." "It isn't yours." "It is." "No," she said, quiet but firm. "It was." His face darkened. He slammed his hand against the floorboard. The sound rattled through the cabin, startling the baby into a full cry. Her arms tightened, rocking fast now, whispering to calm it. He froze, eyes on the child, guilt crawling up through his anger. He lowered his hand, rubbing at the mark he'd left. "Didn't mean to scare it," he muttered. "You did." "It'll be fine." "You don't know that." He looked at her. Then at the child. "How old is it?" "New." "Looks too small." "It's alive." He sat back, voice low. "Not all things stay that way." Her arms held tighter around the baby. "This one will." The crying softened, fading into hiccups, then back to silence. She kissed the child's head and stared at the fire again. He studied her long, his breath heavy, words slow. "You act like you belong here." "Maybe I do." "You don't." "Maybe more than you." He stiffened. "What do you mean by that?" Her lips curved faintly, but her eyes stayed hard. "Maybe your family left more than walls when they walked away." He swallowed, throat dry. "You don't know them." "I know enough." His voice broke sharp. "How?" She rocked the baby once more, refusing to answer. The silence that followed was heavier than before, filled with the sound of wood settling, fire breathing, and the faint rattle of wind outside. He sat frozen, torn between fury and fear. His rifle leaned against the wall, but his hand never moved toward it. Her calm, her silence, Her hold on the baby unsettled him more than any weapon could. Finally he spoke, his voice low and uncertain. "What did they leave?" she whispered. "Something you'll find when the fire goes out." The flames snapped hard, scattering sparks across the floor. Neither moved. The baby slept again, its tiny breath steady against her chest. He leaned back, eyes locked on the fire, but his mind elsewhere, chasing memories he had tried to bury. She said nothing more. The cabin settled into uneasy quiet, the weight of land and blood heavy in the air. The night dragged on slow, the fire holding steady. He hadn't closed his eyes once. She hadn't moved except to shift the baby when it stirred. The silence had grown sharp, like both of them were waiting for the other to break. Finally, he leaned forward, voice rough. "Tell me your name." She didn't answer. "I asked before. I'll ask again." Her hand stroked the child's back. "Doesn't matter." "It does. To me." "Then keep wondering." His jaw clenched. "You come into my family's place, claim it's no one's, and expect me not to ask who the hell you are." She looked at him, her face calm, eyes unreadable. "You already know what I am." "I don't." "Yes, you do." He pushed up from the chair, boots dragging across the boards. He towered over her now, though she didn't flinch. "Tell me," she whispered. "No." The baby stirred, let out a small sound, then fell quiet again. His hand twitched toward the rifle leaning against the wall. He didn't grab it, not yet. "You're testing me." "You don't need help failing." He breathed sharp through his nose, crouching low so their eyes met even. "What's your name?" Her lips barely moved. "Why's it matter?" "Because I need to know who sits under my roof." "It's not your roof." "Say it." "No." The word was small but steady, holding more power than his raised voice. He stared at her, his anger pressing up against something heavier inside him, something he didn't want to admit. "I'll drag it out of you if I have to." She tilted her head. "And then what? Shoot me with that gun? Leave a baby screaming in the woods?" His throat tightened. His eyes flicked to the child, then back to her. "Don't use that against me." "You already are." He rose to his full height again, pacing once around the fire like a caged animal. His voice shook with both rage and restraint. "I asked your name, that's all. You wouldn't believe it if I said it. Try me." She went quiet, rocking the child, her lips pressed against its forehead. Then she spoke low, almost lost under the hiss of the flames. "Rains." He froze. Her eyes flicked up at him. "That's enough." His breath caught, shoulders stiff. "Rains?" "Yes." The name hung between them like a knife. He stepped closer, voice breaking sharp. "You lying?" "No." "You expect me to sit here, look at you, hold my tongue, knowing you carry that name?" "It's mine." His laugh was hollow, bitter. "Your people killed mine. Yours killed mine. Rains and hail don't sit in the same room. We are." "Not for long." The baby stirred, a small cry pushing through the tension. She rocked it faster, eyes never leaving his. "You'll keep your hands off me." He stood trembling, fists tight. "You know what that name means?" "I do." "Then you know what you're doing, sitting here." "I'm holding a child." He spat toward the floor, pacing again. "That name burned my family out, took land, took blood." Her tone cut flat. "Your family wasn't innocent." He spun on her, eyes wild. "Say that again." "They weren't. You weren't there. Neither were you." The words hit him square. He blinked, chest heaving. His anger cracked into something else, thinner, shakier. He rubbed his face, muttering low. "I buried kin because of your name." She whispered back, "And I buried mine because of yours." The baby's cry grew louder, cutting through their voices like a blade. She rose halfway, bouncing the child gently, hushing in quick, steady sounds. He stared at the small bundle, torn between hate and something he couldn't name. "You should have told me sooner," he muttered. "You would have shot me." "I still might, but you won't." "You don't know that." "I do." Her calm stung worse than her words. He turned from her, staring at the fire, gripping the edge of the chair so hard his knuckles showed white. "You can't stay," he said. "I will." "You're Rains." "I'm a mother." "That doesn't matter." "It's the only thing that matters." He spun on her again, voice shaking. "You think you can wash that name away with a child? No, I live with it, same as you live with yours." He let out a sound, half laugh, half choke. "You talk like blood means nothing." "Blood means too much." The cabin fell still again. The baby quieted, her soft rocking carrying the silence. He stared at her long fury draining into something colder, heavier. "Why here?" he asked finally. "Because it was left." "By who?" "By both of us." He sank into the chair, burying his face in his hands. His words came muffled. "This land will never forgive." Her eyes stayed fixed on the fire. "Maybe it doesn't need to." The baby sighed, falling back into sleep. He lifted his head, face lined with shadows. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing." "You lie." "I don't." "You want something." "I want quiet." "That's not in this land." She rocked the child slower now. "Then I'll carry it with me." The fire popped, sparks jumping high. He flinched as though the sound itself accused him. His gaze shifted back to her, to the baby, to the calm that unsettled him more than any threat. "Rains," he muttered, shaking his head. "Of all the names." She held his stare. "Hail," she said back, just as steady. The old feud sat between them like a living thing, the fire crackling louder as if it knew the weight of both names spoken under its glow. Neither spoke again. The cabin sank into silence, the baby breathing slow, the fire burning low, and the weight of bloodlines pressing down on both of them. The night thinned into gray morning. Smoke still curled from the fire, the air heavy with damp ash. He had not slept. She sat in the same place. The baby pressed against her, eyes closed, but never truly resting. The sound came first, hooves on dirt, steady, slow. He straightened, hand brushing his rifle. She didn't move. A knock on the frame. "Anyone alive in there?" The man stepped forward, rifle in hand. "Who's asking?" The sheriff's voice was calm, gravel-worn. "Same one who's always asking." He opened the door. A figure sat atop a horse. Badge dulled with age, face lined deeper than most men could bear. The sheriff swung down slow, eyes sharp. "Morning," the sheriff said. "Morning," the man muttered. The sheriff peered inside the cabin. His gaze caught on the woman, then the baby in her arms. She didn't look back. "Well now," he said low. "Didn't expect to find company here." The man shifted. "She's passing through." "Is she?" "That's what she says." The sheriff's eyes stayed on her. "Name?" she whispered. "Doesn't matter." The sheriff frowned. "Everything out here matters." The man cleared his throat. "She claims Rains." The sheriff's brows lifted. He studied her longer. "That true?" Her lips pressed tight. She gave the smallest nod. The sheriff stepped inside, boots echoing soft. He looked between them, the fire, the baby. Hail and Rains under one roof. "That's a sight." The man bristled. "Not by choice." The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "Things rarely are." Silence stretched. The baby shifted, a small whimper. She stroked its back, eyes still low. The sheriff leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Funny thing, last I checked, this land's been tied up in paper wars, missing deeds, vanished signatures. Some say it belongs to no one now. Some say Hailblood still has a claim. Some whisper Rain's hands carried it off years back." The man stiffened. "This place is mine," she whispered. "No one's." The sheriff smiled faintly, but it didn't reach his eyes. "There it is. Same fight, different day." The man snapped, "She shouldn't be here." The sheriff's gaze flicked to him. "Neither should you." The fire cracked. The weight of the words hung heavy. The sheriff spoke again, quieter now. "I remember your wife." The man's head jerked. "Don't." "She vanished same year the deeds went missing." "I said don't." The sheriff studied him long, then looked at the woman. "And your kin burned out 3 farms before winter took them. You survived somehow. Strange how the past keeps stepping into the same rooms." Her eyes finally lifted, calm and sharp. "The past is always here." The sheriff nodded slow. "Maybe so." The man spat into the dirt. "What do you want?" "Truth." "You won't get it here." The sheriff smirked. "Never do." He walked closer to the fire, peering at the embers. "Both of you sitting here, circling like wolves. A baby in the middle. That's a story the land will carry whether you want it or not." The man barked, "You come to warn me or accuse me?" "Neither." "Then leave." The sheriff looked at the woman again. "You want me gone," she whispered. "Doesn't matter." He tilted his head, eyes narrowing. "Strange woman, strange baby, sitting in Hale Timber with a Rain's name. It matters more than you know." Her grip on the child tightened. "It only matters if you let it." The sheriff sighed. "You sound like someone who's buried too much." She said nothing. The sheriff turned back to the man. "And you, still carrying ghosts, still claiming land no one can prove, still chasing the shadow of a wife who left without goodbye." The man's voice broke sharp. "She didn't leave." The sheriff didn't flinch. "Maybe not, but she's gone." Silence swelled again. The baby began to fuss, tiny cries breaking the tension. She rocked it slow, whispering, drowning out the sheriff's steady stare. He watched her, then the man. "You both think the feud died with your fathers. It didn't. It's alive, sitting right here in this room." The man growled. "Enough." The sheriff's voice dropped, heavy. "No, not enough. This land remembers more than you want. Graves out back, ash in the soil, rings buried, names burned. You can't shake that off." The man glared, fists tight. "Get out." The sheriff stepped back, pulling his hat low. "Fine, but remember this." He paused, eyes sharp on them both. "The land doesn't forget, and it doesn't forgive." He turned, walked to his horse, climbed up slow. The hooves carried him away, fading into morning fog. The cabin went still again. The man lowered his rifle but didn't set it down. She stared at the fire, rocking the baby, her face unreadable. The man muttered, "He talks too much." She whispered, "Not enough." He looked at her, unsettled. "What does that mean?" Her eyes flicked up, holding his steady. "It means he's right." The fire snapped loud, scattering sparks. The baby hiccuped, then fell back into silence. Neither spoke after that. The sheriff's hoofbeats faded, leaving only the sound of the fire chewing through wood. The man stood at the door long after he was gone, rifle still in his grip. She stayed seated, rocking the baby, her eyes on the flames. He muttered low, almost to himself, "You need to leave." She didn't move. "No." "You heard me." "I did." "Then get up." "I'm not going." His grip tightened around the rifle. "This isn't a shelter. It's not for you." She smoothed the baby's blanket. "It is now." His teeth ground together. "Why here? Why me?" Her voice was steady. "Because you won't turn a child out into the dirt." His eyes flicked to the baby. "Don't test that." "I already did." He cursed under his breath, pacing the cabin. "You've got nothing. No food. No right." She shifted, reaching into a ragged bag at her side. She pulled out a small cloth bundle, opening it slow. Inside was a crust of bread, dry and cracked. She broke it in half, placed one piece on the table. "You'll eat," she said. "I don't need your pity." "It's not pity. It's bread." His eyes narrowed, but his stomach betrayed him, twisting at the smell. He snatched the piece and bit hard, chewing in silence. The fire spat sparks. She nibbled her piece in small bites, careful not to wake the baby. He spoke through the bread. "You can't stay." "You said that already, and I'll say it again." "Then I'll say no again." He slammed his hand against the table. The bread cracked under his palm. The baby jolted awake, crying sharp and loud. She gathered it close, rocking quick, whispering soft words. "See what you've done," she said. His anger faltered at the child's cries. He rubbed his face, stepping back. "Didn't mean, but you did." The baby's cries eased as she pressed it tighter to her chest. The fire glowed bright against her tired face. He stared. His voice dropped. "Where'd you get it?" She looked up, guarded. "The baby." "Yes." "Doesn't matter." "It matters to me." "It shouldn't." "It does." She stroked the child's hair. "Then keep wondering." His hands trembled as he reached for the rifle again, then stopped, noticing the shake. He curled his fingers into fists to hide it. She noticed anyway. "Your hands shake." He froze. "No, they don't." "They do." "From work." "From something else." His voice sharpened. "Don't speak on what you don't know." She lifted her chin. "Scars tell the same thing." He blinked, eyes dropping to the faded marks across her arms where the shawl slipped, thin lines pale against her skin. He looked away quick. "Who did that?" he asked. "Doesn't matter. Everything matters out here." She whispered, "Then you already know." The fire cracked louder, filling the silence they left. He slumped into the chair, running a hand across his face. "You sit here like the place belongs to you." "It belongs to no one." "You say that every time. You believe it?" "Yes." "Then why guard the fire like it's yours?" Her eyes stayed fixed on the flames. "Because it's all I've got." His chest rose heavy. He leaned back, staring at the rafters. "You'll bring trouble." "So will you." "Difference is, this is my land." "No." "It was." He let out a bitter laugh. "You're not scared of me at all, are you?" "No." "You should be." "Should I?" "Yes." "Then why haven't you done it?" His mouth snapped shut. The question lingered, thick as smoke. The baby whimpered again. She pulled a small bottle from her bag, tipped it to the child's lips. The soft sound of drinking filled the cabin. He watched, uneasy. "Where did you get the milk?" "Found it." "Where?" Her eyes lifted to his, sharp. "Where do you think?" He frowned, unsettled. The baby finished, drifting back into sleep. She laid the bottle aside and tucked the child back into her shawl. He whispered, almost against his will, "It looks weak. It's alive. For now." She stared into the fire. "That's enough." He turned his face away, ashamed of the words. His hands trembled again. He pressed them flat on his knees. Hiding the shake, her voice softened. "You carry ghosts in your hands." His throat tightened. "So do you." They both stared at the fire, neither daring to say more. The flames roared higher, brighter, as if the air itself fed on their silence. The smell of smoke thickened, clinging to their clothes. The baby sighed in sleep, the only sound that broke the weight pressing down. Finally, he whispered, "I don't know what to do with you." "You don't have to do anything." "I should drive you out." "But you won't." His eyes flicked to hers. "Why not?" Her answer was soft but certain. "Because you see me." The fire flared, scattering sparks across the floor. His chest tightened, anger and sorrow tangled. He wanted to speak, but no words came. She adjusted the baby in her arms, calm again, her eyes locked on the glow. He stayed frozen in his chair, watching her, watching the fire burn hotter, as though it had been waiting for both of them all along. The night pressed close. The fire burned low, throwing long shadows that moved like restless figures across the broken walls. He sat in the chair, half asleep, but watching her. She had drifted off at last. The baby curled against her chest, her head resting against the stone of the hearth. Her hand slipped loose from the shawl. In the glow, something caught his eye, a glint small but sharp. He leaned forward, heart hammering. A band of gold, a crest etched shallow. His breath caught. The ring. He stood, staring hard, the firelight making the metal blaze. His hands curled tight. That ring had been buried with his kin, lowered into earth he had dug with his own hands. His voice tore out. "Where'd you get that?" She stirred, half waking, eyes heavy. "What?" "That." He pointed at her hand, shaking. "The ring." Her eyes flicked down, then back at him. She pulled her hand close, tucking it under the baby. "Doesn't matter." "It matters more than anything." "It was given to me." "By who?" "Someone who had the right." His voice sharpened. "Liar." Her gaze held steady. "It was given." "That ring went into the ground with my brother," she whispered. "Then maybe it didn't stay." He stepped closer, towering above her now. "You grave-robbing witch. You dare walk in here wearing what belongs to Hale blood?" Her voice did not rise. "It belongs to me now." "Like hell it does." The baby woke, crying sharp between them. She rocked it fast, whispering, but her eyes never left his. He growled, "You tell me the truth, or I'll—" "You'll what?" "Kill me. Leave this child motherless?" He froze. The baby's cries filled the space, drowning the rest. He paced, running his hands through his hair. "That ring was my family's. You don't know what it means." "I know enough." "You can't." "I do." The baby hiccuped, quieting slowly under her steady rocking. She kissed its head, her eyes fixed on him, calm but sharp. His breath came hard. "Who gave it to you?" "Someone who wanted me to carry it." "Who?" Her lips pressed thin. "Your wife." The words cut through the air like a blade. He staggered back, eyes wide. "You lie." "I don't." "She's dead." "Not to me." He slammed his fist against the wall, the crack of wood shaking the cabin. The baby wailed again, piercing the air. She held it tighter, shielding its head. You speak her name in this house, and I didn't say her name. You don't need to. I buried her myself. She rocked the child, whispering, Then maybe you buried the wrong woman. His face twisted, torn between rage and confusion. What are you saying? She met his stare. She gave me the ring. He shook his head. No, she wouldn't. She loved me. Her eyes narrowed. Did she? His voice cracked. Don't. She gave it to me. Told me to keep it safe. Said it wasn't meant to stay in hale ground. Liar. Truth. Then where is she now? Her silence burned louder than words. He paced hard, boots thudding. She's gone. You're twisting this. You come here, rain's blood, with my family's ring, speaking poison. The fire flared high, smoke curling up through the rafters. He spun back. Tell me where you found it. I told you. She gave it to me. You expect me to believe she'd hand hale blood to a Rains? She did. His jaw shook. She betrayed me. She freed herself. The words hit him harder than a bullet. His chest heaved, eyes wet but wild. Say it again. She freed herself. He roared, slamming the chair across the room. Wood splintered against the wall. The baby screamed louder, its tiny voice filling every corner. She bent over the child, whispering quick, desperate sounds to calm it. He collapsed to his knees, fists pounding the floor. No. She held the baby close, rocking, her eyes locked on him. You knew. You always knew. He looked up, broken. I didn't. You did. His voice cracked. She loved me. She pitied you. He clutched his head, rocking like a man split open. No. She saw what you carried in those shaking hands. She wanted the ring out of the grave, away from you. His face twisted with grief and fury. And she gave it to you? Yes. The fire roared higher, as if it swallowed their voices. He whispered, barely holding breath. Then where is she? Her eyes softened, but her voice stayed sharp. Gone. Gone where? Far from you. He lunged forward, grabbing her wrist, trying to tear the ring from her hand. The baby cried shrill, kicking against her chest. She pulled back, eyes fierce. Let go. Give it. No. It's mine. It never was. He froze, his grip trembling. The baby's wails cut through him, slicing deeper than her words. He released her, stumbling back. She rocked the child again, steady and calm, whispering until the cries softened. Her eyes never left him. His voice rasped. Why come here? Why bring it back to me? Because the past never stays buried. The fire hissed, throwing sparks that burned across the floorboards. He collapsed against the wall, shaking. She gave it to you. A Rains. Over me. She gave it to me because I carry what you can't. What's that? Life. The baby breathed quiet now, curled safe in her arms. He pressed his forehead to the boards, whispering broken. I should kill you. You won't. I should. But you won't. His voice broke. Why not? Because you know she wanted this. The fire burned brighter, lighting the ring still gleaming on her finger. He stared at it long, his whole body trembling, his past dragging him down like stone. Neither spoke again. The baby slept, the fire roared, and the truth sat heavy between them, clawing its way into the open at last. The ring still burned in his eyes. The fire spat sharp, smoke clawing into the beams. He paced the cabin, fist tight, every step heavy. She stayed near the hearth, baby pressed close, gaze steady. His voice snapped first. You think you can sit here with hale blood on your hand and call it yours? Her tone cut back. It was given. By my wife. Yes. She betrayed me. She survived you. He stopped, fury spilling from his chest. You don't know what you're saying. I know enough. You twist everything. No. I speak what's left. He pointed hard at the baby. And that? Where's it from? Her arms tightened around the child. Not yours. Then whose? Doesn't matter. It matters to me. She looked into the fire, voice flat. My brother's gone, shot down. House burned with him still inside. That's what your kin left me. His face froze. She rocked the baby slow. And this child is what I took before the flames swallowed everything. He staggered back. You stole it. I saved it. That's stealing. That's living. The fire cracked, throwing sparks across the floor. He barked out a bitter laugh. "And you blame me for it? You carry the Hale name. And you carry Rain's. Same blood feud, same dirt under our nails." She whispered, "But one of us buried more." His chest heaved. He slammed his palm to the table. "You don't know the half of it. My own blood cut me out. Inheritance stolen. Promises burned to ash. You think you're the only one left with nothing. You still stand. On bones." The baby whimpered, the sound cutting between them. She hushed it quick, but her eyes never left him. He leaned forward, voice sharp. "You came here for revenge." "No, I came here to live." "Then why flaunt that ring?" "I didn't flaunt it. You saw it. You wanted me to." Her voice turned low, almost a hiss. "I wanted you to remember what your people did." He swallowed hard, shaking his head. "You've got no idea what they did to me." "Then say it." "They sold me out. Promised land, promised bloodline, all taken by signatures I never saw. My own brother left me nothing. I buried him, but he buried me first." The fire burned higher, their words fueling it. Her eyes narrowed. "So your grief excuses theirs." His voice rose. "And yours excuses you?" The baby's cries spilled louder now, thin and desperate. She rocked it harder, whispering quick. He gripped the rifle, leaning against the wall, hand trembling. His eyes darted from her to the child. "Don't," she warned, sharp. "I'm not. Don't." The door creaked outside. Hooves on dirt again. A shadow shifted at the window. The sheriff's voice carried in. "You two still breathing?" The man stiffened. "Go away." The sheriff pushed the door open. His eyes swept the room, caught the tension, the rifle half raised, the baby crying in her arms. His face hardened. "What's happened here?" "Nothing," the man muttered. The sheriff looked at her. "That true?" She held the baby closer. "Depends who you ask." The sheriff stepped further in, boots heavy on the boards. "You're both playing with fire. Land doesn't like it." The man snapped. "It's my land." The sheriff's eyes cut sharp. "It belongs to ghosts now, and ghosts don't share." The baby's cries softened into hiccups under her steady rocking. Her eyes stayed on the sheriff. "He wants me gone." The sheriff's gaze flicked to the man. "Is that right?" He didn't answer. His hand still gripped the rifle, but he hadn't lifted it. His chest rose heavy, his face torn between rage and ruin. The sheriff spoke low. "Set that down before you damn yourself." The man's hand trembled harder. He finally lowered the rifle, leaning it back against the wall. The sheriff let the silence stretch, then spoke again. "Graves never settle. Dirt keeps shifting. You two can fight forever, but it won't change what's underneath." The man looked away, jaw tight. She pressed her cheek to the baby's head, whispering steady. The sheriff lingered a long moment, then stepped back toward the door. "This land remembers. You'd both do well not to forget." The door closed behind him. Hooves faded once more into the dark. Inside, the fire hissed loud, the cabin thick with smoke, grief, and silence. The night thinned again into pale gray. The fire inside the cabin had burned low, its smoke clinging heavy. He hadn't spoken since the sheriff left. She rose at last, the baby swaddled close. "Come with me," she said. He frowned. "Where?" "Behind the cabin." "I'm not following you out there." "You will." Her voice was steady enough that he stood, rifle in hand. He followed her through the back door, boots crunching over weeds that had grown tall around the ruins of a yard. The ground dipped past a row of leaning fence posts. She stopped before an old stone circle half sunk in dirt. Moss clung to it. The rope was long gone. She whispered, "The well." He squinted. "What of it?" "This is where the land swallowed what your family did." He tightened his grip on the rifle. "Stop talking riddles." "Not riddles, memory." He spat. "It's just a hole." Her eyes stayed on the black mouth of the well. "It isn't empty." "Prove it." "I already did." She lifted the baby slightly. "Here." His face darkened. "Don't twist that child into your lies." Her words cut sharp. "This child is proof." He stepped closer, voice rising. "Proof of what?" "That the earth gives back what men try to bury." His jaw clenched. "You're saying my kin—" "I'm saying they filled this well with more than water." He shook his head. "You're lying." "Am I?" "Yes." "Then why does the ground still sink?" He stared at the stones. The dirt around them sagged inward, uneven. The sight unsettled him, though he forced a laugh. So the earth shifted means nothing. Means it remembers. The baby whimpered, as if stirred by her words. She rocked it slow, eyes fixed on him. "You're poisoning me with stories," he growled. "Truth sounds like poison when you've lived on lies." His voice cracked. "You think you know what happened here?" "I do." "You weren't here?" "Neither were you." The silence after stung worse than the words. He lowered his rifle a fraction, staring at the well as if it might breathe. His chest rose heavy. "What's at the bottom?" She whispered. "Names." "Whose?" "Yours, mine, all of them." "Names don't rot." "They do when no one speaks them." His throat tightened. He stepped back. "This is madness. Madness is pretending the ground doesn't remember." The baby fussed louder now. She pressed her cheek to its head, whispering soft. Her eyes never left his. He rasped. "Why bring me here?" "Because you still believe your family was clean. They weren't saints, but they were murderers." He snapped, voice harsh. "Shut your mouth." She didn't. "They burned my house, left my brother in the flames. They threw what they could not bury down this well. They thought the earth would keep quiet." His face drained of color. She stepped closer, baby cradled, voice low and sharp. "But the earth speaks. Through me. Through this child. Through everything you've tried not to see." He staggered back, rifle limp in his hand. "No. Yes. You twist memory. You twist grief. You carry it too. Look at your hands." He did. They shook again. Worse now. He clenched them into fists, but the tremor stayed. Her voice was steady. "That's not work. That's guilt." He shook his head hard. "I didn't burn your house. But you carry their name, their blood, their ring." The baby began crying sharp. The sound pierced the night, echoing over the empty yard. He shouted above it. "Then why bring the child here?" She held it tighter. "Because the child is what the well gave back. You can deny me, but not it." His voice dropped, hoarse. "Whose is it?" she whispered. "Ours." The word hit him like a blow. His chest heaved. "No. Yes. You're lying." Her eyes held steady. "Look close. Do you see your brother in its face? Or mine?" He froze, staring at the small bundle, its cries sharp and relentless. His rifle slipped from his grip, hitting the ground with a dull thud. The night closed around them. The well seemed deeper, darker. A branch snapped in the distance. The sheriff's shadow moved near the tree line, his horse tethered silent. He lingered unseen, listening. The man's voice broke. "Why me?" "Because you're the last one left to face it." His knees bent as though the weight pushed him down. He whispered, "I can't." "You will." The fire from inside the cabin glowed faint behind them, but the night air was cold. The baby's cries softened into hiccups. The woman stepped closer to the well, laying a hand on the stone rim. "This ground keeps every secret, but it gives them back when it chooses. It's choosing now." His eyes filled, rage and sorrow tearing at him. "You've damned me." Her voice was quiet. "No, they did." The sheriff shifted in the dark, his face set, his badge dull in the weak moonlight. He didn't move closer. He didn't speak. He only listened, powerless to stop what was spilling out into the night. The man's whisper cracked raw. "What am I supposed to do?" "Choose. Between what? Carrying the guilt or breaking it." The well yawned dark and silent, the air heavy with everything buried and not yet forgiven. They came back inside without speaking. The door shut against the cold night, but the cabin wasn't warmer. The fire had grown wild, flames clawing higher than before, sparks jumping onto the stone. The baby slept, soft breaths against her chest. She laid it down in the corner, wrapped in shawl and cloth. The man stood stiff near the wall, his rifle forgotten on the floor. She pulled the ring from her finger. It gleamed harsh in the firelight. She set it on the table between them. Her voice was flat. "There, you can have it back." He didn't move. His eyes stayed locked on the small circle of gold. "Take it," she said. "No, it's yours. It's cursed." Her lips twitched, not a smile. "So you believe that?" "I always did." She folded her arms. "Then why chase it when it slipped away?" "Because it was ours." "Or you thought it was." His jaw tightened. He lowered himself slowly into the chair, staring at the ring like it might burn through the wood. That ring buried more than kin. It carried debt, blood. Every time it passed hands, someone ended in the ground. Her eyes flicked to the fire. Then your wife knew what she was doing. His head snapped up. Don't speak of her. She gave it away to break it. She gave it to me. She damned us both. She freed herself. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, his face hollow. You think she left me because of hate? I think she left you because she wanted to live. The fire cracked loud, the only sound for a long breath. His voice dropped. Truth is, I knew. The day she vanished, I knew it wasn't death that took her. It was choice. Her eyes narrowed. And still you stayed here. I didn't know where else to go. You call this land yours. It's all I had left. She glanced at the baby, still asleep. That's why I came. Not for revenge, not to throw the ring in your face, to survive, to give this child more than ash. He stared at her, grief heavy in his chest. Why here? Because your ghosts are already awake. What's one more? He laughed once, sharp and bitter. You speak like you've made peace with death. I carry it, same as you. He leaned back, staring at the rafters. His voice cracked softer now. The ring cursed me long before you ever touched it. My father said it carried weight, said hail blood was bound to it. But all it ever bound us to was ruin. She whispered, Then let it burn. He looked at her, startled. Throw it in the fire, she said. He shook his head. It won't matter. It will. His hands clenched against his knees, trembling again. You don't understand. That ring isn't just metal. It's every name, every wound. Tossing it won't change what's been done. Then it changes what's still coming. The fire flared high, sparks flying into the air. The baby shifted, but didn't wake. He whispered, I'm tired. So am I. Silence filled the cabin, thick with smoke and memory. Finally, he looked at her. You said you came for survival. I did. You could have gone anywhere. No. Nowhere else would have me. And nowhere else had you. His breath caught. Me? Yes, because you were the last one who had to see. The fire snapped, scattering cinders across the hearth. He lowered his head into his hands. What do I do with it? Nothing. Leave it. He stared at the ring again. It gleamed bright, small, and heavy. Every shadow in the room pulled toward it. His hands shook, but he didn't reach for it. Her voice softened. You already chose, by not touching it. He let out a long breath, hollow and tired. Maybe that's all I've ever needed to do. The silence stretched, their words finally drained. The fire kept roaring higher than it should, as though feeding on every unspoken thing. A knock hit the door, firm, slow. They both froze. Another knock, louder. He stood, rifle half forgotten at his feet. She stayed by the baby, one hand on the shawl. The sheriff's voice carried in. You two still in there? Neither answered. The knock came again. Open up. He looked at her. She shook her head. He whispered. What does he want? She whispered back. The land always wants more. The fire hissed, throwing shadows taller than before. The sheriff's voice turned low, steady through the wood. You can stay quiet. Doesn't matter. This land remembers, and it'll come collecting soon enough. The sound of boots shifted outside. Silence followed, heavy as the smoke curling through the rafters. Inside, the ring sat on the table, untouchable. The baby breathed soft. The fire roared. Neither of them moved. The fire had burned itself near to nothing. Only a red core of embers pulsed in the ash, breathing slow. He woke in the chair, his back stiff, his mouth dry. The air inside the cabin smelled of smoke and cold stone. He blinked, forcing his eyes to adjust. The corner where she had been was empty. He sat up fast. Girl? Silence. His chest tightened. He pushed to his feet, scanning the room. Her shawl was gone, her footsteps nowhere to be seen. Only the baby remained, swaddled in cloth by the hearth, breathing soft. And on the table, the ring. It glimmered weak in the ashlight, catching his eye like a wound that never closed. He stared at it a long time before he moved closer to the fire. He whispered, "Damn you." The baby stirred. He bent down, lifting it clumsy but careful, its warmth sinking against his chest. The weight felt foreign, heavy. Outside, a knock. His body stiffened. The sheriff's voice carried through the wood. "Mornin'." The man didn't answer. Another knock. Firmer. "You opening this door?" The man muttered low, to himself more than the child. "No peace. Not even now." He shifted the baby in his arms, then strode to the door and pulled it open. The sheriff stood with his hat low, his eyes sharp despite the hour. Behind him, dawn spread thin across the sky, pale light on dead grass. "You're still here," the sheriff said. "Looks that way." "And her?" "Gone." The sheriff's eyes slid past him into the cabin. "Left you with the child." The man nodded once. "And the ring." The man's jaw tightened. "I didn't touch it." The sheriff stepped forward, boots crunching. His gaze swept the table, then the fire. "You look hollow." "I am." "You going to tell me what happened?" "No." The sheriff tilted his head. "You don't trust me." "I don't trust anyone." "Fair enough. But I heard enough last night to know the ground stirred." The man shifted the baby in his arms, its tiny face pressed against his coat. "The ground's been stirred for years." The sheriff studied him. "What are you going to do with it?" "Don't know." "You can't keep it." "Why not?" "You'll damn it," he snapped, voice sharp. "It's already damned." The baby fussed at the sound. He lowered his voice, rocking it slow. The sheriff sighed. "You're holding Hale blood and Rain's blood both, maybe. Or maybe neither. Either way, that feud's in its bones, whether you raise it or not." The man glared. "You think I don't know that?" "I think you don't know what to do with it." He barked a bitter laugh. "You're right." The sheriff stepped closer, his tone clipped. "The feud won't die with you. It won't die with her. It never does. But you could still choose how it carries on." The man spat on the dirt. Choice is a word people use when they've never lost everything. The sheriff's eyes narrowed. "You haven't lost everything." "Not yet." The man clutched the baby tighter, his hand shaking. "Feels like I have." They stood in silence, dawn stretching pale across the yard. The sheriff's voice dropped low. "She left you something, not just the child. That ring." "I told you, I won't touch it." "Then it still works. Still curses." "Maybe." The sheriff exhaled slow. "I should take the child. Save it from this." The man's eyes flashed. "Over my dead body." "Wouldn't be the first Hale grave I've seen dug." The man stepped forward, jaw tight. "You won't take it." The sheriff studied him long, then shook his head. "No, I won't. But you'd better understand what it means. That baby won't grow without the feud pressing down on it, without names it never asked for." The man's voice softened. "Then maybe I'll raise it without names." The sheriff gave a humorless laugh. "You think land like this lets you forget names?" "I can try." The baby sighed against his chest, falling back into calm. The sheriff adjusted his hat, eyes heavy with wear. "You'll regret it." "I already regret everything." The sheriff lingered, then stepped back toward his horse. "So be it. But remember, Hale, the fire burns long after the wood's gone. You can't keep it from catching." The man said nothing. The sheriff mounted his horse, tugging the reins. "I'll be watching." He rode off slow, his figure swallowed by the thin dawn fog. The man closed the door behind him, leaning his back against it. He looked at the fire, nearly dead, only red embers glowing faint. The ring gleamed faintly on the table, untouched. He lowered into the chair, the baby still pressed against his chest. He rocked it slow, awkward, but steady. The silence in the cabin was deep, broken only by the faint hiss of cooling ash. He whispered, "What am I supposed to do with you?" The baby shifted, a soft breath leaving its lips. His eyes moved to the ring. He stared at it, long and bitter, then turned back to the fire. "Not vengeance," he whispered, "not inheritance, just silence." The baby stirred again, a tiny sound, then fell quiet once more. He rocked it gently, his eyes fixed on the last ember dying in the ash, and when the fire gave its final breath, the cabin fell dark.